good. I love having the fruit trees, and we have any trees that we have been planting the past couple of years have been fruit trees, so it's really nice feeding the birds and all of the beneficial insects and all of that. They love our garden. But I love vegetables, so it all works out. But also, when you are growing your own vegetables, it's a whole lot easier to eat them. You know, you come home and it's just like what's ripe, what's available, what's ready today. Here, I just went through I am so tired. I am just making mistakes. I ran the needle through the thread. But up until a week ago, I was doing a lot of beading off stream. I'm a lot more efficient when I do it there. I can't work, so um, I am, I've been beading for stock and sales and stuff. Been working at that. I'll poke the bottom down just to make it easier to hold for right now. But we have had just already we've harvested a lot of apples, peaches, plums are coming in strong now. Guavas will be a little later. We have olives that'll come in the winter. We have pomegranates that will come in the winter, ripen. So it's really nice. And I've got more raspberries almost ready. And we've been picking wild blackberries. So all kinds of good fresh stuff. I don't know how much longer I'm going to be streaming today just because I am so tired. But tomorrow, 6 or 7 hours sitting in the infusion chair. Don't have to do anything. Just sit there getting my infusion, so that'll be good. And I will bead. My mother-in-law does different veggies every year, but I have a black thumb and can't keep anything alive. I think part of it is if I think in some ways you're either born a gardener or you're not. If you are born a gardener, it's just like you take a lot of that in stride where like this year my tomatoes were horrendous. I've been getting plenty of tomatoes, but I have tomato plants that are kind of dying and not happy, and it's just they've been kind of struggling. If I were not a gardener and if I didn't have a lot of experience gardening, I would think, "Oh, I just can't grow tomatoes." But it's the year. It's the kind of weather we have had this year. It's a problem with the heat and all kinds of things. Um, sometimes it's just you can be better than you think, but also a lot of times it's just like, I have read gardening books. I've read so many gardening books, cover to cover. I have, I Google stuff all the time. I talk to a lot of gardeners. We compare notes. It's interesting to me. And if it's not like a natural kind of passion for you, you're not going to know a lot of what to do, and you won't necessarily notice stuff that is starting to struggle or have trouble, or you might put things where they don't belong, or not recognize some of the stuff that you need to do, or not know that, oh yeah, this is just a bad year for this kind of vegetable. So, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. If who knows? You might get the bug at some point and decide that, this is kind of relaxing. It's good exercise, gardening. It really is good exercise, but like Mr. Crafty, he has zero interest in gardening. Zero. When I was gone, he was trying to keep when I was gone isolating, he tried to keep a lot of my stuff alive, but he didn't know anything about anything, and so, I ended up with a lot of like big trees that were actually growing from seeds that the birds had dropped or something. And a plant that is growing where you don't want it is called a weed. So it might be a beautiful oak tree, it might be a beautiful privet, it might be, just all different kinds of things. But if it's growing in a flower bed, that's not good. But he didn't know. It looked important. He left it, and a lot of my garden, a lot of the front garden where we took out that tree, where I'm planting the fruit trees, a lot of that garden actually died. So a lot of what I've been doing has been digging up the dead plants, cutting back the ones that didn't die, because the water failed. I had it on automatic water, but part of that system got plugged or failed or something. And he didn't know. I can't blame him for it. He didn't know. He's not a gardener. And so it's okay. It's all fine. It's all fine. I'm sure you have other passions. So, don't label yourself. It's just, gardening isn't and don't feel guilty. Gardening just isn't the thing that drives you. That's fine. I managed to kill air plants and cacti. Oh, I can't keep air plants alive. I cannot. I cannot keep them alive. I have a thriving garden that I put in from, like, when Mr. Crafty and I got married 8 years ago. The backyard was literally nothing in it and just weeds and crabgrass. And it was dry, it was hot, it was just essentially a small wild field. No birds, no nothing. And I have, over the past 8 years, made it into kind of like just a really nice garden with a lot of drought tolerant plants and a lot of flowers. My rule is anything I plant in the garden has to either feed humans, birds, beneficial insects, um, or animals. So everything serves a purpose, and I don't have any like just plain things there that don't have a purpose. And it is very relaxing. It's filled with butterflies and bees and songbirds and all kinds of stuff that have come since I've been putting in this garden. It's a lot of work, but it is really, really nice. But he loves the garden. He's not interested in learning about how to do any of it, and that's perfectly fine. And so I can have that kind of success with